cauliflower has become one of the most successful replacement for rice, starches, or even grains for that matter when it comes to the low carb or keto diets. In this video, we are going to see 5 different varieties of cauliflower rice, which are made with some very simple and everyday ingredients that we're sure to find in a low-carb dieter's kitchen. We're also going to look at some of the nutritional benefits of these wonderful vegetables that do not even taste like a vegetable once cooked properly. Now I've got some of these cauliflower florets in here which I've cut from the head and cleaned very well and kept it ready to be grated. Now the easiest way to grate them is by using a food processor in order to give the cauliflower florets a more long grain rice-like texture. But in my video I'm going to use a hand grinder and use each of my florets like as I'm showing in here to get some long grain texture similar to that of rice. Now for those of us who are not really fond of the taste of cauliflower, you do not want to really grate the stem of this vegetable because that's where you would really get the cauliflowery taste for your recipe. But instead, if you just use the cauliflower florets alone, you are never going to realize which vegetable this is. Did you know that cauliflowers are so rich in phytonutrients and they are so low carb and a fantastic replacement for a starchy meal? In fact, 1 cup of cauliflower florets have only 2.6 grams of carbs with 1.4 grams of fiber, giving us a net carb of just 1.2 gram. Now, with simple words, 1 cup of cauliflower rice would actually be just less than 1 net gram carbs. I'm pretty much done grating my cauliflower florets in here, and look at this texture. This is pretty much like how it would look like at the end, somewhat like a long grain rice. Now we get to the cooking side of things, and I place a wide mouth pan over my burner on medium heat, and there is a variety of oil that you could use for your recipe, including avocado oil or even just butter or ghee. What I would not use is vegetable or sunflower or canola oil because these tend to generally increase the inflammation in your body. What I use here is some extra virgin olive oil. So here we go, starting with our first recipe, which is garlic and lime cauliflower rice. After you've given a couple of minutes to warm up the bottom of your pan, go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This is followed by frying a few chopped pieces of fresh garlic, and you're just going to allow this garlic to infuse its goodness into the oil and fry until nice and golden brown. Now you've got to be very careful here because a garlic may burn out quite quickly when fried in medium heat. And following this, you're going to add 2 cups of grated cauliflower, which you grated earlier, into this mixture, and you're just going to give them a very good mix. After this, go ahead and add about 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. Now you can always see that there will be at least 1 cauliflower floret which will not dice up. In my case, I was absolutely fine with it, but if you really is adamant, you could chop them up with your knife. After this, I added a bit of sea salt for taste, and I've given them all a very good mix. Now, did you know that cauliflowers are best cooked by simply sauteing it in some butter or some oil rather than boiling it, because apparently when you boil it, you are going to lose a lot of their nutritional benefits. They are loaded with multiple B vitamins, including B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, and B9. They're also an excellent source of vitamin C, vitamin E, and vitamin K, plus several trace minerals which are not easily found in many of the other vegetables. Now you've got to saute this for a little while, and you do not need to add any water in this recipe at all. Now this is because cauliflower itself has a bit of water content in it, which will seep off from it in the presence of heat. So you want your entire rice to cook from the natural water that is going to seep out from your cauliflower. Now, cauliflowers make a great alternative not just to rice but also to several other recipes in the keto world, including mashed potatoes, well, let's call it mashed cauliflower instead, or even a pizza crust or tortillas, and even mac and cheese. Now, this simply makes sure that the keto or the low carb dieters are not missing out on any of their favorite delicacies. So you know your cauliflowers are ready once they're browned up a little bit, as you can see in here. So at this point you go ahead and bowl them. Our beautiful lime and garlic cauliflower rice is now ready to be served after you've garnished with a few spring onions, which is just optional. Now the second recipe we go here is for mushroom and basil cauliflower rice, which is again another nutritionally rich alternative to the regular rice. After adding about 1 tablespoon of olive oil into my white mouth pan, I fry some garlic in it until they've become nice and golden brown. And following this, you go ahead and add about 1 cup of chopped mushrooms, which are very high in vitamin D. In fact, it is one of the #1 sources of vitamin D after sunlight. Isn't that amazing? They also have some really good amount of copper, which is very difficult to find in any other food sources. So mushrooms are also 92% water, which adds to the fact that you do not add mushrooms along with the cauliflower but before them, and saute them very well so that the heat from the pan is going to just let the water seep out from the mushrooms before you add any cauliflower into it. You could at this point go ahead and add some black pepper powder and season them slightly by also adding some sea salt at this point if you'd like, and keep sauteing them until they look quite dry. After this, you go ahead and add about 3 cups of grated cauliflower. Now, did you know that basil herbs are very rich in vitamin K and manganese, as well as beta carotene? They also have some fantastic anti-aging properties. So you add your chopped basil leaves into your mixture now, followed by a tablespoon of lemon juice, and you give them all a very good mix. Now these basil leaves, which are some natural herbs which are quite seasonal, are also having some antibacterial properties which should not be ignored. So following this, you go ahead and add some sea salt for some seasoning. Once you see that the water from the cauliflower has started to evaporate, it's time to take it off the pan, and you quickly bowl them and garnish them with a slice of lemon, which is obviously optional. For the third recipe, which is one of my absolute favorite, it's the vegetable fried rice. In fact, it was also one of my favorite even before I got into the low carb world, but the only difference that we make it with cauliflower rice this time. So again, you go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of olive oil into heated pan, followed by about 1 or 2 tablespoons of chopped garlic. Now, if you notice, I have used chopped garlic into almost all of my recipes as much as I can, and this is because of the wonderful medicinal properties of garlic, which is antibacterial, antifungal, etc. Now, following this, for your vegetable fried rice, you also fry some chopped yellow bell peppers, some green string beans, and also some red peppers. Now, this is where you could get really creative and add as many vegetables as you'd like. Obviously not starchy vegetables like potatoes or beetroots, but obviously things like cruciferous vegetables are only going to add your nutritional benefit to what you eat. Saute the peppers very well with the olive oil and garlic, just so that they are going to dehydrate to start with. Now, did you know that bell peppers, which are also sometimes called as capsicums, are absolutely brilliant to treat many gastrointestinal problems, and they also have properties which can help people with migraines as well as cramps, and also it is known to reduce the amount of inflammation when regularly incorporated as a part of your daily diet. So it has been recommended that people with arthritis include bell peppers into their diet more often. Now at this point, I go ahead and add my grated cauliflower into the mixture and give them all a very good stir. Now, when I make this vegetable fried rice, I can't help but think that this is not made of rice, because just look at that. It looks absolutely similar to that of a vegetable fried rice. Do you think so? If yes, let me know in the comment section below. I've just simmered my flame down a little bit because I felt it was starting to burn slightly. And following that, I'm going to add about 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and give them all a very good mix in order to have the taste of a very traditional Chinese fried rice. Now, you could dispute the use of soy sauce in a ketogenic diet, but this is completely optional and completely up to you. You can omit it if you do not want it. Now, once the cauliflower has dehydrated, you know that your cauliflower vegetable fried rice is ready and you're ready to bowl it up. The golden turmeric rice, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful rice recipes that I have made. So you start here by pouring in 1 tablespoon of olive oil again, and this is followed by again frying about 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic until it has become nice and golden brown. Following this, you add 2 cups of grated cauliflower into this mixture and saute it until all of those water has started to seep out from the cauliflower florets and have started to dehydrate. This is followed by adding about 1 teaspoon of lemon zest to give that tangy, lemony, turmeric-y flavor into our golden rice. Now you go ahead and add about 2 teaspoons of turmeric powder. Now my turmeric powder which I've added here is store-bought, but by all means you could have freshly ground turmeric if you are able to do that at home. I also season with some sea salt before I start giving them a very good mix. Now as you saute them all together, in about a couple of minutes you start noticing the beautiful golden color forming for your rice, which is totally from the turmeric that you've added. Now once they have started to evaporate, you can add a little bit of a lemon juice as well into it to add on to the tangy and sour texture of your golden turmeric rice. This is now ready to be served. For the purpose of this video, I have garnished this with some chopped spring onions, which is definitely optional if you would like to have a gourmet dinner. Now options are many, but our last and final recipe for this video is our egg fried rice, which is one of the most popular fried rice varieties that I enjoyed by many people around the world. So to start with, we heat 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, followed by frying about 1 teaspoon of chopped fresh garlic until they're golden brown. This is followed by adding all the grated cauliflower into the mixture. Now I've added all of the remaining cauliflower that I had because this is going to be my last recipe for the video. I also go ahead and season it with some sea salt and before giving it a very good mix all over. Now I create a little well at the center of the pan, and I've had a beaten egg which is ready to be poured into this area of the pan in order to scramble them separately. It just saves the effort of having to heat another pan and having to do the same. And I also add some ground black pepper over it to season the egg, and I get them nice and scrambled, which happens in a matter of seconds. Once the eggs have scrambled, you can then quickly go ahead and mix the cauliflower rice along with the egg mixture. Now saute this mixture in the pan until you notice that your cauliflower is starting to dehydrate slightly. And once this has happened, you go ahead and add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce into this mixture, and this gives it the traditional tangy Chinese feel to the entire recipe. Keep giving it a good mix, and once you notice dryness over your pan, you know that this recipe is ready to be dished. Go ahead, get creative and garnish with some freshly chopped spring onions and a slice of lemon before serving. I hope you have enjoyed my 5 varieties of cauliflower rice, which is worth trying. What I personally do is I make them and I get them into the fridge, and they stay easily for 3 meals. I'm not sure about how it is when you freeze them. If you do have any tips about it, please do let me know in the comment section below. I've also added written recipes of all 5 varieties of my cauliflower rice at the end of this video, and there's also a printable version of it in the description section below. Let me know if you are a low carb dieter, and I hope you have enjoyed my video today. If yes, please give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe to my channel for more.